Well, this morning, friends, folks, it's pretty dark out here. It is 7:14, nice and dark, and we can't do anything until the light comes out. All that being said, let's dive right into today's lesson, which is Disciples of the Mind. Love. Today's focus is on love. Love is the greatest light in any kind of darkness. This is how I keep on keeping on, staying married to my woman, even though it's been almost a year since she crossed the stars. I'll never give my heart to another because of the greater love that Jesus shows us all upon the cross of Calvary. And with that love, I asked him to close the door to my heart for another companion forever until I make it home to him and he can guide me to her. Disciples of the Mind, love. We have a quote from Arnold J. Toynbee. Love is the only spiritual power that can overcome the self-centeredness that is inherent in being alive. Right on. Because love, it cares for another. Love puts other interests first before your own. Just like it says in Corinthians. I believe it's 1 Corinthians 7. It talks about love. It's either that or marriage. And we have Romans 13 and 10. Love does no harm to his neighbor. Love does no harm to its neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. In word. Retraining the mind requires extraordinary focus at first. Not only must we learn not to think in all of those negative patterns of thinking, hold on to bitterness, fears, regrets, and our weakness as we do. We must also embrace the character of God, His faithfulness, His power and might, His grace and mercy, His love. Just as redirecting the river from a centuries-old path is a monumental task of engineering, so is redirecting those streams of thoughts that have long flooded our souls. We cannot do it without God's Spirit. Only He has the power, and every moment He averts in us will eventually lead to one thing: love. In the past, our streams of thoughts have always carved valleys that pointed in the direction of self. Even our seemingly selfless acts are often done for selfish purposes. That has to change. The natural mind has no God-centeredness in it. In the renewed mind, the Spirit forms in us has nothing else. There is more than a slight rearrangement of water flow. It is a radical reversal. The landscape of our minds must be altered in an entirely different direction. All anger, bitterness, competition, jealousy, and selfishness are foreign to the heart of God, and it has given us His heart. They are foreign to us as well. How true that is. How can we take every thought captive to Christ? We must learn to recognize selfish thinking. Whenever we find it hard to applaud another's talent, encourage another's spiritual gift, or give for another's welfare, we must be actively aware of it. Whenever we hold on to envy, competitiveness, or a distaste for another's personality, we must be grieved. That does not mean we must instinctively like everything and everyone. It does mean we must treat everyone as a priceless child of God, or at least a potential priceless child of God. It says potential. So there are some out there that are struggling. So, indeed, the conclusion. Selfless love goes against our sinful nature, but so does God's Spirit. Living in His Spirit and His love requires a conscious discipline of thinking. If we live for Him, we live for His people. Love. I believe when it says that love does not put itself first. Love puts itself last. Love puts other interests before its own. Love suffers long. Love endures everything. Love is not irritable. It is not rash. I cannot remember that scripture exactly as it is, but love puts other people, it puts everybody first and puts itself last. Think about Jesus when He hung upon the cross of Calvary. There is no greater love than to give one's life for one's friends, and He did that for you and I, so that we're not just sons and daughters of the Most High God. He is our best friend. And when you got that, your best friend, when you're hurting, especially if your family hurts you, you're going to go to your best friend, and your best friend, you're going to look at their advice, and you're either going to use it or you're not. But a best friend in this flesh can give you bad advice because of something that they went through, and it could be because of bitterness, because of all these things that it's talking about here, competitiveness and bitterness. and not having joy in their lives. So they expect you to go through the same thing that they're going through. But your outcome is different if you know the Most High God, and especially if you know Him in a relationship, because that is a true reflection of love, and that is true light that darkness cannot comprehend. Be blessed in your iron journey of love today. Adios.